Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, on this terrific Tuesday for another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update. As always, if you are new to this channel and finding yourself on my videos for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one around 1 p.m. UK time. I know it's 2 p.m. UK time when this one's coming out. Usually 1 p.m. UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening in the crypto space, but also the broader markets. That's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. We are going to be starting the video off with a clip of Binance's new CEO. Remember, they did CZ very dirty in the US, essentially took out their competition and what could have been a non-controlled party and have kind of took control over it in regards to what's happened with Binance. We're going to be hearing from their new CEO actually talking about this industry and the fact that things are different this time in regards to this bull market and this cycle. And then he actually goes on and gives a price prediction. So we've got two clips to play you from Binance's new CEO. And then we're going to be talking about the halving a little bit, which is coming up in literally a matter of days. I think it's about 3 days away. We'll be looking at the cycles from a BLX, Bitcoin Liquid Index point of view, looking at where Bitcoin's currently at, looking at where Total 2 is currently at, continuing to reiterate our don't panic sort of statements when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. Yesterday, we actually looked at Ethereum in the last bull market, and we looked at the kind of pullbacks that it had, and it had consistent 35% plus pullbacks all the way to its new all-time high. I think it went from something like $88 all the way to 4,800 and something. Are you going to be able to stomach that volatility? Well, if you subscribe to a channel like myself and you're here with me for the journey, we'll ensure and try our best to make sure that you can kind of stomach that volatility and make sense of it all and kind of normalize it, if you will. It's not typically normal for traditional investment assets, but in crypto, this is the nature of the beast. It's risky. You can lose money very easily. Certainly if you apply leverage trading to the crypto space, you are likely to lose money. But we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, looking at Total 2, looking at the stock market, kind of reiterating what's going on with the broader markets with this kind of readjustment in relation to rates and the expectations of them. You know, we've seen a constant theme going into this year. We saw 7 rate cuts, now 3. Now you've got the likes of JP Morgan coming out and saying we might not even see any. And of course, there's that readjustment coming on the back end of really good data for the US. And of course, a spike or a kind of rise in oil and certain commodities, bringing inflationary fears. And remember, the Fed is still not at their 2% CPI target. PCEs and things like this, they're doing a lot better on. But we've got a lot to cover. So let's start things off with a clip of Binance's new CEO talking about how things are different this time.
This cycle is a bit different from past cycle. I mean, you have been involved in crypto, so you know. Crypto normally go through 4-year cycle, right? Price movement cycle, which coincide with the halving, which is going to take place in about 9 days' time for Bitcoin. It's normally after about 6 months after a halving that you see a new all-time high in terms of prices. But this time around, it happens even before the halving, right? Which is why it's unique in terms of market cycle. And one of the key reasons is really the introduction of the ETF, where you bring in so many new users, new liquidity, right? I think I saw some figure yesterday that 14 billion net inflows has gone into the crypto ETFs in the States, right? So those are important numbers, but it's still very early days because that is just the first part of it. With that, there'll be much more financial innovation, there'll be more product structuring that will come through. You'll see a lot more independent houses now being able to advise and their clients to do some allocation into crypto. The foundations, the endowments are going to come through. On our side, we see a lot of TradFi firms, right? The traditional trading firms, now adding crypto as an additional asset class into their suite of products that they trade constantly on a daily basis. And we start to serve them as well, right? So those will bring in new liquidity pools into this industry. So those are key positive. And we are very bullish, right, of the way forward. But we are still in the building stage. So we look forward to working closely with the rest to build this industry together.
And that was clip number 1 of Binance's new CEO. I have to give him credit. There was a lot of talks about him coming from the World Economic Forum. I think the World Economic Forum just featured him. It's an epic story that how Binance kind of got completely restrained by the US. You know, part of the US's mandate that Biden signed way back, I think 2021, was to ensure the US remains the global leader. And actually, one of the reasons I believe they were stopping an ETF was due to fears or their fears of basically them not being the ones able to manipulate it, i.e. Binance being the largest player in the crypto space. they wanted that taken care of before they approved it all. Very coincidental how they approved everything straight after. But I'm going to give the new CEO of Binance his fair share. I really liked CZ. People are against me for that, but I think CZ did nothing but honor his customers and was a general light for the cryptocurrency space, certainly given how many bad actors we saw. But he's absolutely right. You know, if we take a look at where we're at in relation to the halving on the Brave New Liquid Coin Index, this cycle is different. This is the first time we've ever gone on and put in a new all-time high for Bitcoin pre-halving. It usually occurs after the halving, and that just makes me even more bullish on this entire industry, this entire space. The Bitcoin halving, say it however you want, by the way. Don't let, you know, halvening, whatever you want to call it. You know, we all mean the same thing. It's amazing how many English teachers we've got in the comment section. Save your time and mine. But we've got 3 days and 13 hours until the next Bitcoin halving. We will see what takes place. There's an amazing fundamental narrative behind the crypto space, certainly Bitcoin, which is still that tide that rises and sinks all ships. We're yet to even really see an alt season, but it is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Altcoins will do spectacular, in my opinion. I am more into altcoins than I am Bitcoin because my bet is that altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin this cycle. So we'll see. Lots of liquidity going to be coming into the crypto space. It really has just started. If you look at what happened with gold in 2004 and the run that it went on after that, after there was that first ETF approved and it became a kind of viable option for somebody's portfolio or some of these asset managers. If you look at what happened with the SPY back in 1994, you can see the trajectory it then went on. Crypto, Bitcoin is going to go on a similar one, and we are going to see altcoin ETFs, in my opinion. Let's listen to what he has to say about the price of Bitcoin and perhaps his price prediction and price projections.
Many have told us this year Bitcoin will hit 100,000.
Well, there are different financial projections. I mean, if you look at the standard chartered projection, is what, 200,000 or 250,000 by next year, right? So you have seen price point of 100, I've seen price point of 120. So all these are financial projections. What's important is we always stress to our users, do your own research, right? Just don't be led by others. Don't just hearsay from your friends, from people that think they're in the know. Do your own research, use your own money, be prudent with them, invest responsibly.
Do you have a price in your head this year?
I have a price, but I think it will exceed my price.
In your own opinion, what is it?
My price last year, before the introduction of the ETF, I didn't see the impact of the ETF. My price last year is I would have thought Bitcoin will end at about 80,000 this year. But I have revised my price upwards slightly because of the inflow that I'm seeing. So, but again, this is not financial advisory. This is my own view of the world.
Not financial advice, as always. And let's dive over to the Bitcoin chart. What was all the worry about? It drives me insane that I actually saw people talking about World War III on Saturday. Whereas what I was doing was the exact opposite. I was coming out and being a voice of reasoning. You know, I even called an emergency meeting with my Patreons just to talk and take a technical look at things and put things into perspective. And this is why we're not news-driven traders. We are technically driven in regards to our overall bias and assumption on the markets. And when you look at Bitcoin, it really doesn't look that bad, does it? Neither does Total 2. This is probably a more important chart for the likes of myself and many of you guys that are majority in altcoins. We are looking in the AI sector right now, the deep in sector, and a number of other different sectors in regards to areas that we think are really going to excel. And we're seeing this real bullish structure on a whole for them. Many of them have just broken out and now came back and retested and adhering to that support. But this is the cryptocurrency market, excluding Bitcoins, at a measly $1 trillion. This is something we have a technical target for when triggered to 3.7. I think it's going to go above and beyond. And some altcoins are going to do unbelievably well under that. And again, when you look at this, it really does put into perspective the market, what took place on Saturday and the kind of irrelevance of it largely. And if you look at Ethereum in the last bull market, you can see the smallest pullback here was 35%. There were lots of 20% ones along the way, but this is the nature of the beast that you're dealing with. Understand it or get out the kitchen. Very simple. If you can't deal with being a cryptocurrency investor and have the maturity to approach this market in the manner that it needs to be approached, crypto investing isn't for you. That's simple. High risk, high reward. That's how this game goes. It is risky. It is speculative, but that's the nature of the beast. And people come into the crypto space with unrealistic expectations and they can't handle it. And I think we saw a lot of that over the weekend. You know, I know a lot of people really panicked, including other people that have channels. which is absurd to me. You know, we're supposed to be here as a kind of voice of reasoning, as somebody to kind of make sense of all this, not to kind of freak people out. Let's talk a little bit about SPY. So SPY kind of coming off a bit today. You have not really had a great correction for the SPY since here. Remember, the SPY made our target that we had for 2023. NASDAQ, you know, you've not really had much of a correction for any of these markets, and pullbacks are part of a market. You know, gold coming off a little bit today, but eventually is going to go higher. Let's take a look at Meta. Of course, we've got technical targets for Amazon. I mean, we were calling this pre-break, and look at how this has marched up. So I think what's really happening on the kind of macro scene is you've got this readjusting of rates and implied rates. And that is affecting things. People are readjusting, rethinking. You've got this kind of sucking up of liquidity. Remember, it's April, May. Sell in May and come back instantly just date. It's tax season. Typically after your bank earnings, you have a bit of a slump. You know, we need to take this in our stride. There's seasonality to markets. There always has been. Even before markets were markets, you had the agricultural markets, and that's really what drove things. People know there's a time to plant and there's a time to reap the harvest, you know, and markets are very similar. However, I actually don't think crypto is going to do too badly. I think it's going to be more of a stock market thing as we've traditionally seen. And if you look at where crypto is at in relation to the likes of the SPY, it's pulling back. This is going to fix itself and go higher. We've got technical targets for it, just like we had previously. Also the NASDAQ and gold. You never really had a proper retest here. Maybe we gunned for that. But across the board, we are still bulls. Let me know what you think about what's to come this year. We still very much believe this bull market is intact. When you look at the charts, we get that. When you look at the fundamental narrative behind this industry, we get that. And actually, when you assess things further down, some of these altcoins, you look at where they're at, they're all out in the same place, ready to see that real good times ahead. You know, I think we're very much going to have a crypto summer. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Let me know your comments in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one.